Welcome to Weld.com. I have a special guest today, Mr. Brad Frazier. Also has a YouTube channel, is that correct?
Yeah, you can find me over at YouTube at HourGlassFab.
So we have a project today. What are you going to share with us today?
So today we're going to take some cold rolled 22 gauge mild steel, and we have cut out some petals already. We're basically going to form those petals and turn it into a rose for everybody to check out. You can follow along. They make good birthday presents or just gifts in general.
I've always wanted to learn how to do this.
Well, here we go.
Flowers. So what do we need to do first? What do you want me to do?
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some petals and bring them over here, and we're going to form the core of the rose, and then we'll just build off of that with each petal. And in between that, we'll tack a petal up, quench it, bring it back over here, fit up another petal, tack that up and quench it again, and just repeat the process until we start to develop the actual rose head.
So we're quenching it so that when you're handling it, you're not getting soaked.
Exactly.
Quenching's not doing anything other, regardless of what we're making it on. But it's small, tedious detail, so we want to keep it cooled off for the fingertips. Yeah.
Exactly, and basically we'll be building the entire rose in the vise the whole time, just so we can hold it and maneuver it exactly how we want it.
You hand cut these?
Yep, those are
a pair of snips.
Those are hand cut with just some snips.
There's really no other way. I mean, you could get what are you going to go to and have somebody make you a stamp and keep doing this all the time? Don't you vary the size and
exactly.
And every one of these are kind of hand bent, so everything is unique. Interesting. All right, so how did you start out here? You made your pattern?
Yeah, so basically each rose petal kind of is however you want to make it. Eventually, after you do a couple of these, you'll get a style. How I make mine is I just take a piece of cardboard, draw out a little rose petal. I round the bottom of it, just round the top. Basically make it like a teardrop or a raindrop, just with some Sharpie, and then cut that out. And now I have a template that I can lay on my sheet and then trace it and flip it upside down and try and line it up and trace it again, back and forth until you have a good pattern that you can just cut out real quick with some shears. And if you overlay these lines, it's a lot easier, so you don't have as much cutting to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put two of these together and make the core of the rose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these and basically bend them 180 degrees. And then we'll stick those together and fit those up to form the very center of the rose and then start building onto it. So how we're going to do that is we're going to put these in the vise here, and I just have some aluminum angle in there just so I don't mar up the steel too bad. We're just going to put those in there and use this ball peen hammer and just start folding it over and giving it a little bit of a curve. And as soon as we have a little bit of a curve on it, then we'll throw it here in the vise and tighten it up until we roll that all the way over.
You're just kind of starting to fold.
Exactly.
And then using the vise to regulate how much you close that up.
Yep.
Which is not all the way either.
No, you still want the other petal to fold right into this.
It. Okay. So we need another one.
Yep, and we'll do that process one more time here. And I'll just drop it down about 1/8 of an inch or so every time I hit it, just so we can kind of roll it without too many bends in it. Then we'll see how these two fit together here. We might tighten that up just a little bit. We'll throw a tack on it, and then we'll quench it. Start forming the petals. All right, so we're going to go ahead and throw these two petals in this vise here. We got them folded over. They're overlapping.
You're not slamming them together. You're just gonna. They're still loose and they'll flip, right?
Okay. Basically, I'm just folding them over a little bit and using the vise to completely bend them over, leaving about an 1/8 inch gap or so, so they fall in place and line up, like so.
I got you.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to throw these in the vise.
Now it's even making better sense. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, that's still gonna slip, but now that you're putting them in there, so we're just gonna put a fine tack along
throw
where
a tack right on the bottom here.
Okay.
just so we can try and hide it with overlapping petals. We're just going to throw a little baby tack right up in here.
Just one, we don't turn this over and do the other side, right?
Nope, we're going to just do one.
So this is where we need to keep things cooled off?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll just pull that out and quench that.
Oh, this is starting to make perfect sense.
Yep.
Okay, now we got to form another petal.
So now we're going to add to this core here and form another petal. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to do the same technique. I'm just not going to bend it over nearly as far. And then we'll fit it up like so until we find a nice fit that looks like it goes together, you know. Now we'll get this petal, we'll stick it in between these vice jaws here, and we'll start to form it by just moving just a little bit at a time, just enough to kind of pull that petal back and look like it's about to bloom. See there?
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll do another one on the other side, and then it'll start to come to life here. And we'll just kind of move it along until it looks like it's right, where it fits into place real nice. Maybe something like that. Throw it back in the vise. Pinch it just to get a little tack.
And we're still wanting to hide everything, so we're down redoing.
So we'll tack low.
Okay.
So we have 3 total now. We're going to throw the 4th on. So we'll get to making another petal here. So anyhow, this is a nice tight petal. And we're just going to keep that tight.
Mine did.
And here on the bottom, you can see that it's poking out. We'll go and just chop that off and kind of bend it all in. And at the very end, you'll see how we cover that up.
Okay.
Throw a little tack here on the bottom.
Oh, you're just giving that a little bump. It's about 30 amps, 35 amps.
Yep.
Nothing really to do other than just
tack it.
Bridge that together. Okay, so at this point, you actually have to let go of it so I can look at it. At this point, you know, now it makes perfect sense to me, but you're just going to repeat this process. And I think you mentioned a minute ago that as you do this, each of these just keeps getting less and less radius. You just get, so you can, do you flare them out anymore? Do you start doing this top?
On the petals at the very end, I might bend them back a little bit more to get like the effect of the petals going to fall off.
Open them up, yeah.
But just like you said, the larger diameter of the core, the less of a radius on each petal, and you kind of just fit and form them to shape until it starts to just all fit together and look real nice and tight.
Okay, so you know, right now we've got this oval thing going on this way. Do you ever start to fit opposite of that and go into it?
Exactly. So typically that's how I would start right off the bat, but to just change it up and give it a little bit of a look, I added petals diagonally from where we started, but it would be add 2 here, add 2 here, add 2 here, and then just kind of go around until it started to really bloom.
Okay. So you're basically working in somewhat 90 degrees off of it.
Exactly.
They each kind of go that way. All right. So at this point, we can just kind of turn you loose and you're going to rock and roll here.
Yep. Get all the petals bent and fit up, and catch you on the stem and the final details.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, man, you've been laboring away over here. You have labored to produce a No, that's a flower. I'm telling you that I'm speechless. I mean, that is like fine detail work. I don't even want to pick it up now. I mean, the whole process of bending this stuff, shaping and getting, you know, you kind of working everything around, like you said, it's like get into it and get the feel for it, huh? Mm-hmm. And every one of them is unique.
Yep.
So, you know, let's recap on the whole process here.
So basically we started off with making the core, the two pieces that went together. Mm-hmm. And then we started to build petals around that to start expanding out. And then we went ahead and formed all the rest of the petals, completely made the rest of the rows, and then made a couple of leaves coming off of that bottom there, and tacked those up. And then we bent this stem around, threw a couple of thorns on it, and then just used a couple of extra petals that weren't formed to create the leaves. Tacked those guys on there, and that's what you got.
Finished. Mm-hmm. Amazing. That is amazing quality work. Very unique. Really appreciate you coming down and doing this. This was fun to watch.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you letting me be on. It means a lot. It was a really good experience. And if you guys want to check out welding content, you can check out me at HourGlassFab on YouTube.
And I'm sure that this was entertaining and educational. I certainly learned a lot. So please subscribe and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And thanks for watching Weld.com. Brad Frazier, Bob Moffett with Weld.com.